I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network, Donald Trump's sometimes lawyer and current spokesperson of his political action organization that remains under criminal investigation. Alina Habba went on right-wing media, the Benny Johnson show, I think it's called, to brag about the mugshot posed by Donald Trump was her idea. I mean, it's such a clownish thing just from the perspective of her being a lawyer. But also when you see this interview, if you even want to call it that, the level of propaganda and kind of insular, cultish humor that Habba and this Benny Johnson, who works with Charlie Kirk, that they are engaged in is so reflective of the corrosive and deteriorating Republican base. I mean, if you almost look at the photograph, it's kind of a litmus test. If you look at this Donald Trump's conduct in one, just lying about the fact that he's 6'3" and weighs 215 pounds, which is just absolutely absurd. Like, he lies about everything. Then you look at that photo, if you go, he looks good in that. That's a powerful photo. It kind of shows me that there's something not fully there right there. Because I'll tell you, that photo is a very triggering photo. It is a very bizarre and deranged photo. And Donald Trump and MAGA, they use the word thug a lot. When I look at that photo, that's what I see. I see a thug in that photo. I see someone who wants to destroy our democracy. I see evil in that photo. I don't see compassion. Here, just pull up this right here. You can see the photo of compared Trump and compare President Biden. We do a lot of comparisons on the show, whereas President Biden says, don't compare me to the almighty, compare me to the alternative. I want to show you first. Let me show you what Alina Habba said on this Benny Johnson show. She talks about this was her idea, and then Benny Johnson showing the shirt and is like, oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. You know, and that's just this WWE cosplay fascism that the most Americans look at that and view as putrid, view it as disgusting. But let me just show you the way they talk about it on right-wing propaganda media. Play this clip.
Can you talk me through my new favorite shirt? What was the plan here? First off, what did you think when you saw the photo? Were you there at the courthouse with him? And was this planned? Did he just like let her rip? Talk me through.
Oh boy, you're asking me very. I have an answer for that. I'm trying to think if I can give it. I was
favorite
not
strawberry blonde.
Our favorite president golfed the day as per usual. Nothing gets him down. He was golfing in the morning at Bedminster. I spoke to him and saw him and asked him what he was thinking in terms of the mugshot, if it was going to take place. Had he given it some thought? And we discussed some things, but I'll keep that privileged. And, there had been a lot of chatter about on TV and everything. And I had been asked the night prior on a station whether I thought he should smile. And I was very adamant about the fact that I didn't think it was appropriate. I thought this is a sad moment in history and there's nothing funny about it. And because we may be immune does not make this a joke. And I voiced my opinion. He doesn't always listen to me, but I'd like to think that you put a little seed in his ear. At the end of the day, he did and looks how he felt. I think the low level behavior from frankly, the words I want to use, I'm being very careful, but a low level behavior from somebody like Fani Willis, who is a county, prosecutor. She's not a federal prosecutor. She is frankly a unknown human being who is campaigning on the tail of Donald Trump, just like Letitia James, just like many of these people, wanted this mugshot for her. But I hate to tell you, Fani, it kind of worked for us. So thanks.
Yeah, we've done an entire show. We were trying to get to the news, but the memes were too beautiful of this mugshot. We can't help ourselves.
And then Jessica Tarlov, who's one of the only pro-democracy commentators on Fox, She's on that show, The Five, with all of the other kind of right-wing extremist Trump propagandists. She's the only voice of reason on that show, and she often gets yelled at by I'm going to call her that, by Jeanine Pirro, who screams at her and yells at her and tries to like just interrupt her, and all the, that Godfrey Godfrey, whatever the guy's name is, who tries to interrupt her. But here, Jessica Tarlov, I think, is reflecting how most Americans feel of it, that I don't think anyone other than Donald Trump's fans look at that in any way of like admiration. Like, this is pathetic stuff. Here, play this clip.
Person who it seems like will be the nominee, he's up 30, 40 points, is being indicted, arraigned for the fourth time. And I think that that's a clearer indication that the system is working than that it isn't. I don't think, Will, to your point, that anyone except the biggest Donald Trump fans is sitting there thinking that that mugshot has anything to do with what it looked like when MLK had his mugshot taken.
Here's Jessica again saying how you want to know the actual stats here about how Americans feel. 62% thinks he committed a crime, including 67% of independents. So y'all MAGA fascists are living in a bubble right now, a rapidly shrinking bubble with your radicalism and extremism that's out of touch with how Americans feel. Play this clip.
From the point here, which is that Donald Trump was indicted in 4 jurisdictions around this country by juries of regular Americans in New York, in D.C., in Atlanta, and in South Florida, where he calls home. This wasn't Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow sitting there. It was regular people who listened to the evidence that was brought before them. When you say that people are rallying behind him, his diehard base is, but the average American isn't. There's new polling out today. 62% think he committed a crime, including 67% of independents. 61% thinks that he must stand trial before the election. Why? Because you don't want to put someone in office who's going to jail. And 59% think that the DOJ is being fair. That shoots straight through the argument that this is a two-tiered system of justice. If you don't like that Joe Biden is fundraising off of it, Donald Trump is doing the same thing. He's having his moment. Mitch McConnell even, remember, he fundraised off Cocaine Mitch.
And then you want to know how Jesse Waters responds and how Jesse Waters feels about it. And again, with Jesse Waters, he's a Fox commentator, what I'm about to play for you. Like, this is weird behavior. This is just strange and deranged cult worship right here. Waters says that despite having an unblemished record of heterosexuality, he believes Trump looks good and hard. Play this clip.
I am now going to book the Fulton County photographer for my Christmas card. Because, Judge, and I say this with a unblemished record of heterosexuality, he looks good. And he looks hard.
And let me just show you, this is what President Biden said when he was asked about the mugshot. Play the clip.
Have you seen Donald Trump's mugshot yet? Mr. President, are you worried at all about that?
I did see it on television.
What'd you think?
Handsome guy, wonderful guy.
I was considering doing a T-shirt or even a mug with Donald Trump's mugshot on the mug, and I've seen people do that. I ultimately decided against it, although I'd love to hear your comments below in the YouTube chat, because for me, seeing that photo, seeing evil manifest just in that way, seeing again also the malignant narcissism saying he weighs 215 pounds, the criminality and weirdness in just that photo in general, I thought this is someone in Trump who's caused a lot of trauma to our nation, continues to cause a lot of trauma to our nation, wishes us harm in our nation through his conduct, wants to divide, wants to stoke some very, very bad things happening just with his conduct. And I don't know, I just didn't think that we want photos of him in our shelves and in our next to other mugs or in our drawers. Like the face, I think, and the trauma he's caused so many people is so real and triggering. That's why when I've done clothes and merchandise that involves Trump, I try not to show his face on them, because it is this is someone who means such harm and has caused such great harm and grave harm to so many people out there. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Check out MeidasTouch.com for all the best new pro-democracy news on the web. That's MeidasTouch.com. Wherever you get audio podcasts, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast and have a great day.
Hey Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.